Welcome to GlowJob, the beauty podcast that's more than skin deep. We're the only podcast to make you hotter and smarter.
So how was your weekend?
I went to Vegas with Gotham for the first time. And, it's just so different because in the past decade, I'd only ever been for like crazy college girls trips and work conferences. But I guess Vegas in your 30s looks a lot different.
I've actually never been to Vegas minus one time when I was like 3 years old.
Wait, really? Never?
Never as an adult.
Oh my God. I think I've been to Vegas like at least a dozen times. Like not even for work.
That makes sense though, because in California, it's so easy. Like in New York, I'm not flying to Vegas for funsies when I could fly to like Europe over there.
No, but like even for work stuff, you've never been?
Never had to go to Vegas.
So weird. So I think like maybe out of the dozen times I went, I think literally only two have been for like girls trips and all of the rest of them have just been conferences. Yeah, no, but it was fun. Like we didn't party and like we didn't rage, but we saw great shows. We had good food and like just going and eating in Vegas is always so funny for me because like they don't really have anything unique in Vegas when it comes to the restaurant scene. They basically just like pick and choose the best restaurants in all the other major cities of the world.
That's so fun though.
Yeah, but what about you? What's new with you?
I went out on a few dates. I went on one date with this guy who basically catfished me because he said that he was 5'11" and like he looked like he was super fit. And then he showed up and I was like, bro, who is this kid? Like, this is not the same person. It's so wild, these guys out there.
Wait, how much shorter was he?
I benchmarked this with my guy friends after. I went out with some friends after and I went to all the guys and I was like, hey, how tall are you? Tell me your exact height. And all the guys I was with, they were like 5'9" or 5'10". I'm like, okay, cool, bro. He was shorter than you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, so you got catfished.
I mean, it was like a low-grade catfish, but like I made sure it was real quick and I got out very, very quickly. But it redeemed itself because then 2 nights later, met up with this guy, very hot Spanish man, very tall, former tennis player. I mean, like all the things were like quite good. So it redeemed itself. It did.
Okay, wait, like a pro tennis player?
He played pro for a couple years. He went to Berkeley. Yeah, and then he played pro for a little bit. Now he's in commercial real estate, but yeah.
Okay.
He was really cute.
That's so funny. I don't know what the pipeline is for like college athlete to commercial real estate.
I'm sure it's high.
It's very high. It is extremely high. Oh my God.
We'll see. Going on a second date. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. I mean, living the LA dream.
It's really fun and very entertaining because I feel like I'm just like racking up the experiences and the stories.
Wait, how many dates has it been? Like how many first dates?
First dates?
Yeah, that you've been on since the breakup. Because like, girl, you've been getting out there.
Probably 20, south of 30. South of 30. You know what I do though? No, wait, no,
I'm joking.
Okay, wait. Hold up. So I have a method, you guys. I have a method. So what I do, so I don't like burn out from this, is like 2 to 3 times a week, I set aside like an hour or two where I will scroll through all the things like the apps and like say yes or no, and then go through the inbounds, like the likes and the messages, and I just like pump it all out. And then I wait until I get more responses. And then I basically plan everything for the week and I like weed out. I'm like, all right, this guy's cute enough to like meet, I have some free time tomorrow. I'll meet with him. This guy like, okay, you know what? Like we can meet later in the week. It's not a big priority. And I just schedule it out. You know me, I'm such a scheduler. It kind of like works out. And then that's how I racked up more than 20.
I mean, it's crazy, but it's not the craziest that I've heard. I literally know girls who will stack multiple dates in one night. And
No, I could not.
No, and they will literally tell me like, I just didn't want to get dressed or, get ready to go out twice. So I'm not going to ruin this face of makeup on a bum date. So, I'll meet one guy for drinks and then I'll meet one guy for dinner and like that kind of thing. But yeah, no judgment.
So that would stress me out because it's like if you are hitting it off with somebody, but you got someone lined up next, like then that becomes very difficult to manage.
I know, but that's like all of online dating. I feel like so many people have issues with like making selections and like, because it's always like there's another person after this, but hers was just like shoved into one day.
So funny. But that's why I'm just like such a proponent of like, look, let's not talk forever in this stupid app. Just meet in person. We'll gauge this really quick. It's either a yes or no. You know within like 15 minutes if you're going to go on another date with someone.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Why don't we jump in to this week's beauty and business news? And we're going to start off first with actress Shay Mitchell has just launched a skincare line for children called Rini.
You know, the internet is so pissed about this. And honestly, I am too. Because there are just so many issues with this line, like from beginning to end. But the skincare line she is launching with a series of sheet masks. And I think they're kind of printed with different animal faces on them. But, you know, they're supposed to be like hydrating, kind of mommy and me skincare that's like green and non-toxic. But oh my God, the backlash that they're experiencing is next level.
People are saying that small children, like toddler age children, because that is the age category of the kids in her advertisements, they do not need skincare. Like the most you need at that age is maybe a moisturizer or like maybe some specialty creams if you have a skin issue like eczema, but we don't need face mask at 3.
No, definitely not. And, you know, I think that's problematic. Another thing I think is problematic is, you know, we've talked a lot about how some brands will basically just take the word K-beauty and throw it into their marketing scheme just because like they think that consumers think that K-beauty is like a stamp of approval for like what good skincare is. So I found that to be really problematic. I know Rini comes from the word orini, which means children in Korean. And I think like her co-founder is part Korean. So it's not that strange that it has a Korean name, but like, I don't know. I just didn't love the word that they just throw K-beauty in there.
I know what you mean. It just feels like a marketing gimmick, especially if you watch the promotional video of her talking about the launch and she basically like fear mongering in the video being like, you know, like so much of skincare has all these chemicals and I don't want to put chemicals on my children. Like everything is a chemical. Water is a chemical.
You know, it's just really problematic. I think that like so many parents fall victim to just fear mongering online and it's not their fault. Like, you know, they don't have the time to go and educate themselves over like, you know, XYZ new things that they need to be worried about, like nanoplastics, et cetera. But, you know, it's just bad. It just like seemed like such a cash grab in my opinion. I did a reel on this online. I was actually shocked at how much engagement it got. Like there were so many people against it, AKA in our camp, like agreeing with us for all the same reasons, but so many people were for it. They think that, you know, like they're like, oh, well, what else are parents supposed to buy if they want to do skincare? Or another girl was like, my sister's 5 and wants to do skincare with me and like play dress ups, spa day, whatever. And so like, what is she supposed to use? What's your take on that?
I see their point, right? Like the kid wants to play with them. I don't, you know, that's not the part I have issue with. To be quite frank, the thing I have issue with here is it just, like you said, Jules, it feels like such a cash grab because I personally think that everything that Shay Mitchell does in terms of product launches feels like a cash grab. Like Bae, her luggage line that she released, it's like a bunch of these bags and whatever. We don't need more crap in this world. Everything she does not feel authentic.
No, that's super fair. I mean, like, so BÉIS, that was a knockoff of Away, right? When they were launching that, you know, more affordable version of like a Tumi, whatever. And then also she has that liquor line, Onda, which is like canned cocktails. And that also came out, you know, after like George Clooney made all those millions at Casamigos and everybody was kind of, every celebrity at least was trying to throw their hat into the liquor ring. But this to me is like, she's just kind of finding new trends and just trying to capitalize on them. Because like skincare, at least in Korea, like they have tons of products for babies out there. And also like, I've just heard so many stories from like influencers about how BÉIS like treats their people. There was this one pop-up that they did and they had constructed this giant pool and they filled it with suitcases. And they had created this like crane device where guests would strap themselves into harnesses and then become a human claw machine. So then they would go and hover over the pool, like it was like a giant, like a swimming pool almost of luggages. And they would get lowered into the pool, have to grab a suitcase and then come up with the suitcase. And keep in mind, this is public. It's a pop-up. Everyone is photographing them. But there was this like one woman who did it, and she's not famous. She's not an influencer. She was just like somebody attending. And so she goes in and gets a suitcase. And after she pops out, someone from the BÉIS team said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, but you actually can't keep this suitcase. It was actually already accounted for by somebody else. But so sorry about that.
What the f? That's the stupidest excuse I've ever heard. Why put the goddamn suitcase in the pool if it's accounted for?
But it's just like, that is to me like exploitation.
Yeah.
Like that is like humiliating people in order to create a viral moment, right? Not just saying, sorry, girlfriend, you can't have the suitcase, but just like making people do like fear factor stunts in order to get swag. Like that's not cool.
If that poor woman strapped herself up in a harness and dangled her body over a bunch of suitcases, I think that woman deserves 1 million suitcases. Yeah, I think I'm just not a fan of her brands, to be honest.
You know, that's fair. And like when I was like in the comment section with the people on that video who were talking about like what should my kid sister use or what should my kids use? Like there are so many other options for children to use if they want to play dress up, right? Like I did like a quick search online. Reusable silicone masks, those little eye masks, right? Those have no actives. They're reusable, so they're perfect for playing with. They're not like single use. And I also saw this one thing. It was super cool. They're like these dehydrated little towel sheet masks, and you can put them in water, and they're actually designed for adults to then go and customize with different serums and ingredients to then put on their face, but just use water. Or like when I was a kid, I would just put cucumber slices on my eyes. Shay. All right, next in beauty news. And this isn't just beauty, but it's beauty, wellness, kind of everything. But Kimberly-Clark is set to acquire Kenview in a $48.7 billion deal, which is just crazy.
That is so much money. It's so much money.
You know, that's more money than some small country's GDP.
I know. It's insane. So Kimberly-Clark is acquiring all the outstanding shares of Kenview, which is the world's largest pure play consumer health company. Sidebar, Johnson & Johnson actually spun them out in 2023. And so this is a cash and stock deal. So the merger brings together $10 billion brands, and that includes Aveeno, Neutrogena, Tylenol, Huggies, and Kleenex. All huge name brand names.
No, literally, like name brand, like I feel like so many people out there, they don't even say like, oh, can you pass me a tissue? They'll be like, hey, can you pass me a Kleenex? Like that's how big these brands are. But you know, both firms, both Kenview and Kimberly-Clark have been under a lot of pressure lately, just because a lot of like normal, regular, everyday households have become a lot more price conscious, right? Like people are going for generic versions of all of these store-bought products, or, you know, they're just like, just finding ways to save because, I don't know, we'll never forget when eggs cost $15.
Oh my God, that was so insane. Kenview's stock was actually down 30% this year, which made it a target for activist investors, which brought up the possibility of the firm being for sale.
Yeah, and we all know like a major reason for this happening, and it was Donald Trump, you know, taking Tylenol and just telling everybody, like pregnant women specifically, that Tylenol causes autism, right? And just like issues during pregnancy. Scientists have decided and like definitively said that that is like inconclusive, right? There's no proof behind it. But that statement alone absolutely just like tanked the stock of the company. It was insane.
I mean, Tylenol is literally one of their biggest brands, so it was not good news for them. But then there was also that talc crisis with the baby powder. Like there have been a couple of different run-ups to the low stock price.
Yeah, but 30% is crazy, but I don't know. What was it? 48.7 billion is even crazier.
I know. It's so wild. This isn't as sexy as like some of the other beauty wellness news that we bring up, but I think these are the kind of brands and these are the kind of stories that will affect so many people across the country because these are products everyone uses like daily.
Yeah, and even though it's not sexy, like this is still like mega news, right? Like when it comes to like $48 billion just being thrown around like that, you know, these are definitely stories that people need to hear. You got to get smarter and hotter.
Speaking of someone not getting smarter, Kim Kardashian reveals that she did not pass the California bar exam.
Shocker.
I know we can all on Kim. It's pretty easy to do. But I do gotta give her kudos for trying, you know? She keeps trying.
I mean, yeah, if anything, she keeps trying, like whether it's like businesses that she's like starting and starting over again, like she's always going to give it an effort. But like, I don't know, passing the bar, how hard is it really? Like, I know people study their asses off for it, but you know, people pass. It's designed to be passable. That's how we get more lawyers into the mix, right?
Oh, trust me, I know some dumb lawyers who have passed the bar.
Because she also has that like new TV show, All's Fair.
Okay, wait. I texted you this the other day. I started watching the show and I went through this arc, you guys. So in the beginning, I turned it on and I was like, what in the is this? This is the piece of television I've ever seen in my life. And then my brain went through this crazy roller coaster where I was like, you know what? This is so that it's good. It's like watching a bad soap. And then I got hooked. And Julia, I finished all the episodes that were out.
Sasa, you texted me this like a couple days ago.
I know. I had it on the background while I was cooking dinner. And then I just got like, I haven't watched TV in months. So this was like my first. I'm not even joking. I've not watched TV in months.
That is hilarious. Okay. You know, I haven't gotten myself to try the show just because I've been seeing all of these bad reviews. And so I actually I pulled my favorite headlines. So I'm going to read them to you. Okay, Sasa?
Okay, tell me.
Daily Mail said, -3 stars. Variety. Variety called it clumsy, condescending girl boss fantasia. The Guardian called it existentially terrible. The Atlantic called it an atrocity. And Time Magazine, this is probably as close to your view of this, but they said that it was so bad that it can be considered high art.
Yes, that's how I felt. Because here's the thing, it is bad. Like, I would never tell anybody that I think this is a good show. It just feels like a trashy, fun show, you know?
Is that what camp is?
Yes, that is camp. This is the epitome of a camp drama.
I now understand camp.
It's bad, trust me. It's really bad. It's very cringe, but it's entertaining. And Glenn Close is in it, and I love Glenn Close.
No, they have a really good cast, right? Like, I think like Sarah Paulson is in it, Tiana Taylor, like Niecy Nash, right?
I didn't realize that was Teyana Taylor until later when I like Googled it.
Yeah, and like my favorite part, the only reason why I know so much about this cast is because when we had our photos taken professionally just a couple weeks ago, we had the same photographer that shot the cast of All's Fair. That was so exciting.
Yes, Johnny Marlowe. He had just shot them, and then the next day he was shooting us, and we were like, oh, we're in good company.
My favorite thing is like he was telling us like a little bit of stories about like, you know, working with all the women from the cast. And he was telling us that like all of the cast have different good sides, right? And so when he was trying to like line them all up to take photos, everyone's like posing, you know, just to like what favors them and not like what makes the overall photo cohesive. But, you know, Sasa, this just makes me so thankful that we have opposite good sides.
I know. We were a match made in heaven. Like, truly.
I think one of my favorite memes out there is like there's like a ton of memes about Mariah Carey when people try and photograph her from her bad side because like doesn't miss, right? Like she senses a camera and just like automatically she's just like, boom, good side, boom, good side. Doesn't matter. Obsessed.
I love Mariah. I love her for the diva that she is.
Is she camp too?
No, I would not call Mariah camp. Gosh, no.
Even with all her Christmas stuff?
Oh, she does that for the money though. You know,
yeah,
she knows.
True. I hear she makes like $5 million a year just based off of royalties for that one song released over 20 years ago or something like that.
She's doing good.
All right. So next in beauty news, this one is a little controversial, but so Dua Lipa, another celebrity, just launched a new skincare collection, which is supposed to be powered by the science of Augustinus Bader.
Like, honestly, do we really need another celebrity skincare line?
No. Short answer is no. And I think everybody, nope. I feel like everybody is in agreement with that. But, you know, it was kind of crazy. Like, and also expected, unexpected. I don't know. Is Dua Lipa a skincare girly?
I do not associate her with skincare. I'm pretty sure the memes all say that Dua Lipa loves vacationing, and that's about it. Right?
Yeah. And I mean, I guess like, for a celebrity launching a line, they're always getting criticized of like, is the product actually any good? Is it shit? And I guess her way of kind of like walking and like tiptoeing around all those questions is this collab with Augustinus Bader. Because like, let's not forget how successful his collab with Victoria Beckham was, right?
Yes, but that one felt more on brand, right? Like Victoria Beckham, like she is the woman that uses Augustinus Bader. But Dua Lipa, I don't really affiliate her with that same cachet. And also the pricing on these products. This is making me raise major eyebrows on just like the whole Augustinus Bader like
hype
price point. Yeah, the hype and price point.
And we ran the numbers, right? Like I was like so bewildered by this. I literally like sat down and crunched them because we just had to. We had to prove our point. So we ran the numbers, and Dua's moisturizer is going for $75 for about an ounce and a half. And the Augustinus Bader one is going for $305 for 1.69 ounces. So a little bit more.
And to give you guys like an apples to apples comparison, the Dua Lipa one basically is $50 per ounce. And the Augustinus Bader original collection one is $180 per ounce. That makes it 3.6 times more expensive.
And so could they have been pricing it this cheap all the time if it's like all the same Augustinus Bader science?
I think so.
There's a reason why I don't trust Augustinus Bader. And it's because like when they first launched the cream and the rich cream and there was all that hype, they really only had one product, right? A moisturizer. And their whole shebang is when you buy this moisturizer, you are supposed to cut out every single other product that you use except for your cleanser and your sunscreen. You're only supposed to use this. And this is the only thing you are ever going to need to transform your skin. I work with burn patients, yada, yada, yada. And then why the hell is he coming out with so many new products? I thought it was just supposed to be one and done. And now I need to buy like thousands of dollars worth of skincare from you. Like I will never forget that has always been his founder story.
That is so true and so bad. And also just shows you that at the end of the day, like you can start off with good intentions, perhaps in your marketing, but everyone kind of spirals and wants to sell more.
No, he had like the best founder story. Like, oh, I'm a doctor doing all this burn patient research and I'm bringing my research to you in the one cream you'll ever need. Oh my God. I just can't. I can't.
Well, I think you and I are both a hard pass on this line with Dua.
Yeah, I don't think I need that. I'm going to say no.
Sorry. Bye, Dua. Love your music. Don't love this cream. Next up in business news, Tesla shareholders approve a $1 trillion pay package to CEO Elon Musk. I mean, if we thought 48.7 billion was absurd before, 1 trillion just blows my mind.
$1 trillion is absolutely insane. I don't think most people can actually fathom what that means. But, it's going to take a lot for him to actually get this amount of money paid to him. He has to hit some insane numbers. He has to grow Tesla by 5.6 times, right? So as of right now, they're like a $1.5 trillion company, and it's going to have to cross 8.5 trillion in order for him to get any of this money.
And to put that 5.6x growth target into perspective, he has to do some insane things. Like he's got to sell 20 million cars, basically. He's got to get 10 million subscriptions to do self-driving. He's got to do 1 million robo-taxis and 1 million robots to reach that $8.5 trillion valuation.
Yeah, I mean, and all of this has to happen in 10 years. They haven't even sold a single robot yet, right? Like there's not even a single robo-taxi in the street. And as someone who used to drive a Tesla, like I never paid for self-driving.
Oh, yeah. You didn't have self-driving option in your car.
Yeah. I mean, they would give it to you every once in a while for free just to kind of pique your interest in actually doing it. But I never converted over. But it's actually wild. Like I kind of want him to hit it just because being able to accomplish all of that is insane. Because where Tesla sits right now, like they are more valuable than every other car company combined, right? And they've been able to do this. Like, they're not an old company. They're not like legacy, like all of these other brands. So it's crazy.
If there's somebody who could do it, I mean, no one is crazier than him. And crazy people can achieve a lot of stuff. But I'm curious, Jules, why didn't you ever pay for the self-driving part?
Because it's expensive. It was
How much was
expensive.
it?
Like it was almost $100 a month. And the thing is like self-driving is only good in certain situations, right? Like if you're sitting in a lot of traffic or if you're like driving a lot of like roads, it doesn't work as well, right? Like, you kind of got to be traveling longer distances. But I think all of the self-driving is just going to continue to improve as they like develop out their whole like robo taxi plan, autonomous vehicles plan.
I have one coworker who routinely drives between Montecito and Santa Monica, and he pays for the self-driving, and he tells me all the time it's like the best thing ever, since like he's on the highway and he's just like on autopilot basically.
Yeah, so that it's a good use for that. But like if you're in stop and go traffic all the time, like my self-driving would disengage or, and so like that doesn't make a lot of sense to me because I sit in a ton of traffic. So it's just like, not worth it. And lastly, let's just end today talking about Coty and all of the findings that we were able to get from their latest earnings reports.
So the conclusion here is they did exactly as expected. They were not amazing, not terrible, kind of just in line with analyst expectations. Overall, their US execution and their fragrance strategy have been improving, and they're beginning to close the gap with their competitors within the prestige fragrance category.
I feel like a lot of these, bigger companies like a Shiseido, they've been having really god-awful years. But it's so clear that, like fragrance is a category that is just driving all of beauty's growth right now, right? Like, when we were looking at Estee Lauder's numbers and kind of the only reason why they've been able to stay afloat has been their fragrance. But, back to Coty, what we're seeing is that management is now doubling down on what actually works. Fragrance, right? Because I think they're a top 3 global player in that category.
So total revenue for Coty was down by about 6%, and their consumer beauty, which is their mass market side of the business, did the worst.
And when we think of Coty, like they literally have so many brands within their umbrella. And when we think about like their mass market side and what that means, so that's going to be things like Kylie Cosmetics, Kylie Skin, CoverGirl, Rimmel, right? Like Sally Hansen. Those are the brands that really do fall into the category. But a lot of what they own is just fragrance.
So we're talking Burberry, Calvin Klein, Chloe, and Gucci, but they're going to be losing that Gucci license to L'Oreal pretty soon, and we've reported that before. Alrighty, guys. Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure to tune in next Monday for our weekly roundup of beauty, business, and pop culture news.
And don't forget, we will also see you this Thursday with our full deep dive episode. See you then.
Bye.